Hello, beautiful. How are you doing? So today I wanted to make a video about my experience with agoraphobia. This is my own personal experience. So about, I don't know, 2013, I would say, I started to experience really bad anxiety. And one day I was riding the train. I was coming from somewhere, something I was doing for school, and I suddenly felt super lightheaded, and I'm on the subway and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. And so I got off at the next stop and I just felt myself really going in and out, like I was really gonna faint. And so I'm walking and I'm holding on to the wall on the platform, telling myself, don't pass out, don't pass out. Try to get to the exit, get outside, get something quick to eat before you faint. But the more faint I felt, the more anxious I also became. And so I saw this little Spanish lady with like this little wheelie cart, and she was selling these, I don't know, sugar sticks and something like that. So I bought it. I gave it like $1 and I got 2 of them, and they were 2 big ones, and I ate it and I felt better and I got back on the train. Well, after that experience, I started to notice I felt anxious all the time when I got on the train. As soon as I would go in the subway station, I would have these negative thoughts like, what if I feel like passing out? My anxiety would skyrocket through the roof. So it went from that one experience to then later on, as time went on, I got more and more anxious. My agoraphobia became more advanced. I didn't even know the term agoraphobia. I never heard of it. I didn't know that that was what I was experiencing. And so it got to a point where anywhere I would go, I was scared. I was like, oh crap, like I'm on a train. Somehow my brain connected subway station to anxiety, which then connected to passing out. And my thoughts were always, what if? What if I faint? What if someone doesn't help me? What if I get dragged across the end of the platform and raped? I live in New York City, so those are my thoughts exactly. So eventually I started to feel anxious to do anything. I was scared to leave my house, to go too far. I would leave my house. It wasn't to that point where I wouldn't leave my house. But if I went too many blocks away from my house, I started to feel anxious. I started to think, what if something bad happens to me? Can I get home quick enough? If I would go out to eat, what if I get food poisoning? Where's the nearest restroom? Every time I would get on the train or on the bus, and at the time I was in school, I was going to college, so I was in the morning and it was very crowded. So I would always have to take something with me in my bag, and if I didn't have anything, I would freak out. So it was really bad. I went to the doctor, I got my regular physical, and I talked to my physician and I told her the things that I was experiencing, and then she told me that I was dealing with anxiety disorder. She prescribed to me some medication, serotonin, and so I took that for 6 months. I didn't want to take it for too long because I didn't want my body to get so used to it. So I got off of my serotonin medication, and I had to learn ways to cope because I knew if I wasn't going to be on my serotonin anymore, I had to learn ways to cope with my anxiety and to get a grasp of my agoraphobia. Agoraphobia stopped me from doing a lot of things. It stopped me from going to my high school reunion, which I heard it sucked anyway, but still, it would have been fun to go. It stopped me from going certain places, certain distances, to see my family. I used to see them all the time. It stopped me from doing that. So it was really hard for me to live with that. And I thought I was crazy, and I didn't even know what I was experiencing. I thought I was the only one in the world going through this. Me living with anxiety, I've had anxiety since I was little. So I thought that I was just going nuts. But when I researched and I learned a lot about it, that's when I started to really find out that it's a real thing, and it's something that's hard to control, but it's not impossible. So if you're going through agoraphobia, I just really encourage you to keep pushing forward. And in my next video, I'll be talking about the steps of what you can do in order to help you overcome your agoraphobia. Steps that I took, nothing drastic, practical steps. But you just have to be real consistent with it and really push forward, and trust me, you can definitely get through your agoraphobia. So with that, thank you for watching. Bye.